the annual meeting of the North Rock Civic Association. I'm so pleased to welcome all of you. We've had a wonderful year. I think a lot of you know we've been through some transition. In the past, Tim Gupton and the Wilcoxes have been kind of one and two-person shows with carrying the run of it, but now this year, for the first time, we have a committee. We will introduce him later on, but we're doing very much from lots of people helping on the executive committee. We'll find it. So we've got 7 people who are all contributing. Could we be in a more beautiful location? It's just magnificent. Let's give a big hand for Steph. I would like for you to hear from him the description of this beautiful place before we conduct a little bit of business.
Thank you everybody for coming. Most importantly for supporting the Barn Meeting Aug Association. An organization that's near to our hearts and very important to our local community. This town needs help with transparency and focus on projects and priorities that are important to the folks who provide funding for the town. This is what this is all about. So welcome to our car barn. Monica and I built this place about 4 years ago with the help of a fellow named Jerome Clark from the north. And when we thought about building this, our cars were sitting out in a storage facility. And I was hoping to have a place that we could take a whole island. Hope we have a place where you can get in and drive the car out of the other cars. And I can ask for a box. And then Monica took over. So she gets all the credit, all the design work, the library, the TV area, the alcoves, the colors, everything. And also the outside, all the outside design work she did. So hats off to her. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight, but she sends her best. And she will try to get it in this condition. The property was originally owned by Herman Cohen. And he owned a house up there on the hill. He was the nephew of Moses Cohen. Moses has a brother named Caesar. And Herman was Caesar's son. So 1930 was when this property was built. And the last 30 years before we got it, it just sat there for about 10 years. Imagine one rock, maybe find a flat piece of ground with this much grass. So we could build something like this on it. So it's a real dream. Enjoy sharing with our friends and anybody in the community who's interested in old cars. So my cars are sitting over here. If you're looking over, we can go for a drive together. Very blessed to tell the story. We all love Barry's book, of course. We've been out for some drives. And anybody who wants to go for a drive, we come. So I want to thank you all for coming. I hope you all had a good time. If you have any questions about your cars, I'm here. If you're in our workshop, that's where the magic happens. We use these cars to drive apart. And all of them are good all the time, because they have to be good. So, and there's a few older cars, like this 1946 Volkswagen. It's probably the oldest Volkswagen most people ever see, because it was produced by the British and the Control factory after the war. And this 1951 Porsche car was about 500 when they were built, and they started making cars in 1948. This is the oldest Porsche car. I grew up in a military family. My dad was a career Marine. Born at Camp Hamilton, and went to Newport bases in San Diego. I went to 10 different schools growing up, but we lived on a military basis, and I saw all these cars. Melbourne men could never afford one, and later in life, stars light up, so we're able to get these cars and enjoy them. And thank you all for coming. I want to turn the program back to the meeting. Who's as you know, the TV personality. Did you know that? An announcer on television. So you got the right.
Before you do, any questions? I mean, this is just, they're just burning that y'all want to ask him before. I mean, one thing that
Okay, the Fighter Pilot's car is the silver one with the stickers on it. The silver one with stickers on it. I haven't tracked down the original owners of these cars. Silver one with stickers was a pilot who flew missions in Vietnam. was an engineer who accompanied the test pilot with like great variants, the instrument. And then after the war, he became the lead engineer on the team that designed the rocket systems for the nuclear landmine. Maybe we look at that. Anyway, so the guy who owned that car was one of the last leaders who put an end on it. He took it to New York, and he and his wife, he was 93, she was 92, they flew off. He just passed away at 99. Wow. And what he told me was about the moonshot. We all think about the technology and the way it advanced science, and so many things happened to put a man on the moon. John Kennedy set the goal. He said the toll of human life is what the story wasn't told. Hundreds of thousands of people were involved, and families were broken, and alcoholism, and heart attacks, because they worked so hard to put a man on the moon. He was one of the last survivors of the guys. His name was Led Ragnar, and he owned that car in 1980. So anyway, we have some nice stories on some of the cars.
Every one of them is licensed and insured and ready to be, and has the keys in it, and ready to be driven out of here. And normally, none of this is here, and so his wife Molly designed it so he can just jump in a car and get out there.
Like Barry and I have done a few times.
It's a bad teenage experience. Or dream come true.
Okay, tell me if you start with your ears. We want to recognize Albert Young. He is our town council member. He is a member of Little Rock Civic, and he is just a wonderful friend of this organization. Sue Sweet, you might find him as a former council member, and we welcome you tonight here to the city. But anyway, Albert, thank you. You are some of us are full-time residents, some of us are part-time residents, but we all are full-time taxpayers. And since the property taxes pay for over half of the town budget, we care. We are here to learn, to be informed. When I first joined the Barn Meeting Civic Association, one of the things that really impressed me the most was it's kind of the only place I can stay current and know what the issues are and know how to learn more about what's happening in the area. And now that we have BRCA 28605, we're Tom Weir. If you're not watching him, he posts some mainly on Thursdays, right, Tom?
Usually on Thursdays.
And he just gives you a little tidbit or two of some local news, and often will link it like our summer session that we had showing Barrett with the historic video, and we're going to have more about that in a little bit. But if you're not already opening those and listening to them, and I tell you the secret, he takes like 3 or 4 coats with him so he can change clothes, so he always looks real spiffy and so he's doing his best for y'all, so let's do our best for him too and support him. And if you see him around town, be sure to recognize him as our local TV person. I want to mention a few of the accomplishments, and I say a few because what you had in your seat, there is in tiny, very small print, a page and a half of things that Little Rock Civic has done since the inception. And I was just amazed as I was reading over them, but a few of them, we assisted the town in expediting the completion of the tedious widening of Highway 321 through town. It was so much faster because Little Rock Civic, the leadership got involved and helped make that work and come to fruition. We encourage outstanding developments such as Chestnut at Blowing Rock, the Manor Hotel, the Getaway, and others through publishing positive facts about these developments. We've worked with neighborhoods to provide information that has led to the preservation of valuable green space in our town. We've worked with our town to emphasize the critical importance of investing in water and sewer systems, good streets and roads, and citizen safety. And we have, we see preservation of quality as essential to the continued success in our community. I want to mention a couple of things. This year, hopefully you all participated when we sent out a survey. We decided instead of having us think of what you're most interested in the survey, and the issues that were voted on, and we took the top three, everyone's within top three on the vote, the impact of tourism on downtown congestion and parking, the lack of a 24/7 ambulance in Blowing Rock, protect neighborhoods from short-term rentals, the impact of property tax reevaluations, speeding and noise on town streets and highways, preserve green space, and protect water quality and quality from new developments. And since the survey, y'all know in the last week or so that the critical need to improve our town water and sewer system has really risen to the top. But we'll be sending out another survey. It's very important that y'all send those back in because you help us know what we need to be interested in and what you want us to pursue. So thank you for doing that. Again, we are addressing them regularly through Tom Bear and BRCA 28605. And feel free to communicate to him any of your thoughts or anything you'd like to see on that. We also want to recognize that I hope that many of you either got to go on the 26th of July to our second summer session at the American Legion Building, where we debuted our first video called The Village Tapestry, the video series. If you didn't, it's now posted on our website or on the BRCA 28605. You get used to saying that and say it a lot. On the 22nd of this month, it's a Monday, at Blowing Rock Country Club, we're hoping to have 200 people or more, and we're going to invite the whole community to come, and we're going to show the entire series. There are 8 segments at this point, and I've had calls this week saying, I missed it, how do I get this in? I heard it was just fantastic. I probably looked at them, what Barry and I individually probably watch about 20 times, 30 times, 40 times. It never gets old. Every time you watch them, you see additional old photos and whatnot that just bring to life the history of this beautiful town. And if we weren't doing it, Blowing Rock Civic Association is funding the whole project. And we're doing it as one of our many partnerships. We've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce, we're working with them. But it's our way of also showing the Blowing Rock Historical Society that we care about them. We want to be a partner with them, so we're working with Tom and Brian and that organization. So Blowing Rock Civic is making a real effort to say to the town, we want to work with you. We want to be a part of you. So that's been very successful. We really appreciate that. Another way that I want to mention, 5 years ago, Betsy and George, I got embarrassed because they asked me and I had to say, no, I hadn't so many times, that I finally re-registered my husband Hodge and me to vote up here. Now, we live in Rocky Mount a significant portion of the time. It doesn't matter anything what our vote is in Rocky Mount. I still continue supporting people financially there that I care about. I put their signs in my yards. But people can win here by a handful of votes in any elections. I think some of them specifically have been like a 50 vote or less winning. This is what it looks like. We've got a lot of back-to-back table. If you would please consider voting, that's really the main way that we can have some influence up here. And Betsy wanted me to mention, it says in the number 4, provide your residential address. That would be the home you own here. And number 5 is providing mailing address. My mailing address is Rocky Mount. And they send everything, and we often do vote. I call in advance and have them send me, and I vote absentee. And it's so easy. It's so absolutely easy. But if you would consider doing that, it would make a real big difference. So thank you for that. And now, I got something else. Well, let's go ahead and let me tell you one treasure report. Betsy Wilcox has said that we have an increase in our income, and we appreciate you all for that. We are always looking for new members. On your way out, if you want to pick up a flyer we have that kind of tells about what we do and give it to your friends and neighbors, we would appreciate your sharing the information of what we do. I want right now to introduce, I told you instead in the past where Tim Gutton and Wilcox have done most everything. With our team approach, I want to introduce the executive committee members. If you would stand up and hold your applause, I know you'll be tempted, but hold your applause until they're all standing up. Do not forgive me, but I'm Jean Kitchen, and I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself up front. I volunteered. Oh, God, no, I do. I volunteered. You're not on here, Mom. Okay. Tom Barrett. Okay, let's get it. Tom Barrett. Definitely Tom. He's our meeting person, among other things. And I would like right now for all the members of our board to stand up and let's give them a round of applause to them. Jane Sellers, would you come up and conduct a little business for us, please?
Well, I think the first thing is to confirm that we have a quorum here, which we definitely do. Thank you all very much for being in attendance. And then our next business item is to elect our two newest trustees. And I think, I know at least one of them is here. Ms. Bingham in the back here, Laura, and then Morgan Tarbuck, who I don't think was able to be here. I didn't check her in at the desk, but she is our other nominee. So I guess we would like to present those folks to you. And you want to call for, I guess the nominating committee is nominating them.
Okay, is there a second?
A second, Jerry. And
Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you for not saying no.
Congratulations, Laura.
How about that? That's pretty cool, because that's a little bit what I do with this thing. We wanted this to be fun for all of you. We're socially distanced, we didn't get to have my brother and sister, but we wanted you to have a good time being here and get to know each other. Okay, now we're going to do something that is really, really special to us. Every year, the Lone Rock Board gives an award called the Paul H. Boyle Community Service Award. And this year, to introduce us to this year's winner, is David Goodson, who was the 2020 recipient as well as being on our board. David, if you would come up.
Thank you, Jean. Wonderful to see everybody here tonight. Paul and I have been members here of the BRCA about 3 years. So due to COVID and everything else, tonight's the first time I've met many of you. So it's wonderful to see all of you here. The Broyhill name, it resonates around the United States for fine furniture. But here in the high country in western North Carolina, it means a lot more than that. The philanthropy and the good works that the Broyhill Foundation has done for this community as well as individual Broyhills is unmatched. You can't go anywhere in the high country without seeing something that wonderful that they have supported. I can't name them all because it would take an hour, but I will mention a few things. The Broyhill Park, which Paul Broyhill himself helped design, the Foley Center, the long-standing support for the Barn Meeting Aug Horse Show, and most recently the private development on Chestnut Ridge. It's quality. When I was selected as the inaugural Paul H. Broyhill Award winner 2 years ago, quite frankly, I was shocked and humbled. But unlike many of you here, I never met Paul. I didn't know him. So I wanted more than a name on a plaque. So over the last couple of years, I've spoken to a lot of people that knew Paul, some of you in this room. Hunt, of course, his son Hunt's over here. Hunt, go away. Hunt was generous with his time, and after we spoke a few times, he actually called me back and said, I want to give you a a copy of my dad's memoirs. So he brought that up to me. I read it cover to cover. And over the last year or so, I've come to know Paul Hill, even though I never met him. There's a few words that I'm going to mention that describe Paul, and I think you all would agree if you knew it. Builder of buildings and relationships. Determined, and he said he got that from his father. Studious, a man of faith, a United States military veteran, loyal to his friends, his family, and his thousands of employees. And I'm going to add one thing, he was a great American. And just like many of you here, he loved and cherished Warren Rock. The nominating committee this year for the award had a tough task because we had several well-qualified candidates. We could only pick one. The recipient of tonight's award embodies a lot of the same traits that I just mentioned about Paul Boyle. And I'm quite confident if Paul were here, he would be the one who was humbly honored by tonight's recipient. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Monkey DeVon. Monkey's going to do the honors. He's going to do the honors for us. And so I'm going to get the award and you can take it from here.
How's our sound? Good. Thank you. Actually, Charlie Sellers is supposed to be up here tonight to present the award, but Charlie has COVID. And I got an email from George Tuesday night saying Charlie is out with COVID and you have been selected. And I said, why me? He said, well, we wanted to get somebody of Charlie's stature. Came down to you and E.B. We took a vote and you lost. So here I am. And I spoke to Charlie a couple of times. I talked to him last night. He's hanging in. And I was able to assure him that regardless of how it goes, Deidre will not be on the street very long. Anyway, I asked George too, I said, are you sure you won't be up there in view of my recent legal difficulties? And he said, oh, that's a thing in the past. He says, everybody knows that your sexual harassment charges have been reduced to assault with a dead guy. We move on to the nominating committee. As it was mentioned, it was a fairly easy process. We wanted to get somebody that has encapsulated the history of Bowen Rock, the special people, the special places, all the things that make Bowen Rock such a wonderful place, and has put it in prose forever. But Jan Karen could not be here today. So we moved on. And thus I have Charlie's remarks right here, which I editorialized and a little bit through here. For example, y'all don't really need to know that the recipient averaged 17 points a game his senior year and turned down athletic scholarship at Duke and Carolina to go to Appalachia. But he says, we are very pleased to recognize an extraordinary individual who has rendered great service to this committee. This gentleman is one of Bowen Rock's greatest native sons. He is a graduate of our fine local school who earned 2 degrees from Appalachian State University and a PhD from the University of Nebraska. He is a military veteran who served our country with honor. He is a gifted teacher and historian who has written a great history of our town, a village tapestry. He is an excellent researcher, writer, editor, and publisher who served as executive director of the Appalachian Consortium Press. He is a skilled administrator who served as vice president of Savannah College of Art and Design and had a very successful tenure as president at Lisa McRae College in Battle. Actually, we were at Lisa McRae a couple of weeks ago to hear a Rolling Rock boy, George Grove, who spent 41 years with the Kingston Trio, playing the Hayes Auditorium over there. recipient's legacy is still there. You won't find many places where the bilingual signs are written in English and Chinese. He's provided professional expertise on a number of major national and international projects, including one in which he worked closely with President George H.W. Bush. He is an honorary one of our state's outstanding citizens with the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Among his many activities, he serves as a member of the Board of Trustees, on the Executive Committee, and Chairman of the Nominating and Governance Committee of the Little Rock Civics Association. Our award recipient has worked with the BRCA and Little Rock Historical Society to produce a series of excellent village tapestry videos of Little Rock history. He is also working with the Historical Society and the Village Foundation to produce a superb village history walk for our town. And I should mention at this point that he is also reported to be working on another volume to address some of our other concerns like restaurant reservation, speeding on the bypass, the parking issue, and most of all our dealings with the Watauga County Commission, trying to get them to provide us with the ambulance service that we have already paid for. I think this movie is going to be called A Village Tapestry, but I'm not sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased to present the 2022 All H. Floral Hill Community Service Award to a very deserving citizen of Florida Rock, Dr. Barry Buxton.
First of all, can you hear me in the back of the room? I'd rather speak without a microphone if you can hear me okay. First, let me thank the members of the selection committee for this award. It's a great honor. I'm not deserving, but I certainly am grateful. Paul Broyhill, for whom this award is named, was a dear friend of mine. He touched so many lives, as Mr. Goodson eloquently said. When I think back, growing up here, when I think back about Paul Broyhill, I think back about the SUV of the 50s and the 60s. What was the SUV of the 50s and the 60s? A station wagon, exactly. I think back about dozens of station wagons full of men and women leaving these mountains and going on their way to Broyhill Industries. They fundamentally changed life circumstances for so many mountain people who were poor and who could not find jobs. And so I remember very distinctly seeing these station wagons with as many as 10 people in a station wagon on their way to Caldwell and Catawba County to work in Broyhill Industries. And my sister Mary, who was studying at Appalachian State University, she actually worked in one of the upholstery plants for Broyhill. So it's a very personal thing to me. And, I know it touches so many elements of our community. Back into the coves and hollows where opportunities did not exist. And Mr. Ed Broyhill, I caddied for Mr. Ed Broyhill at the Long Rock Country Club when I was 11 years old. And Ab Hayes was the caddy master. And Ab would say that Mr. Broyhill had asked for me. And that was a joy because he took a golf cart and he played. Yeah, that's right. And he played with Mr. Pickard, who was the general manager at the Green Park Hotel. And they would always play a quick round. And after every round, I would come in and Mr. Broyhill would take out a $5 bill and he would hand that to me and he would say, "Now take this home to your mother." which I would dutifully do because my father had died and left mother with 7 children. And you can imagine what that was like in those days. I mean, there were no jobs available for women, and those that were available were hard to come by. So when I think about the Broyhill name and the incredible things, as you mentioned, David, all the things, we couldn't begin to name them all. But A Village Tapestry, the book, when Paul Broyhill discovered that the book had been out of print, he said, and thank you, Hunt, for the family, because it's a family foundation. He said, we've got to get this book back in print. And so Hunt and family stepped forward to donate the money to get Village Tapestry back in print. And of course, we're donating the proceeds.
If you enjoyed the stories, I mean, I always, because I went on all of the video, we were videoing all the different 8 segments for Village Tapestry, the video version, the video series. The rich stories that Barry knows that he pulled and gleaned out of the Village Tapestry are right there on location, and the old pictures to support, to show all the way things used to be. If you haven't seen it, please try to come on the 22nd when we're going to show all 8 of them, all on location. Because he stands up and as the perfect narrator just shares, it just comes alive. It's just really, really amazing. I want to mention, because there has been a little discussion about our being a 501c3. We are all on the board. It's getting ready to take another schooling of 501c3, but we follow all rules for that. We do not tell people how to vote. We've got information. I don't know if any of y'all saw the videos when I interviewed the candidates who are running, as well as ones who are already sitting as town council members. We give them the questions ahead of time, and I'm off camera and ask them to give their thoughts and their position on them. We don't ever tell people how to vote. We just present the information to you all and ask you all to evaluate it and vote accordingly. And hopefully more and more of you will be voting accordingly up here. So these are back there. We've got a stack on them. Please feel free to take them. If you've got neighbors who aren't registered to vote, and you think that they might think, well, you know, I can make a real difference here. I can't make a real difference in some of the bigger towns that maybe y'all have other homes in. Excuse me?
Like them as members.
Okay. Ed, you want to come?
No.
We love you all. I mean, I'm just blown away that you all came here tonight, that you care about Love Civic Association. I mean, we really do want to represent all of you, and we want to keep you informed. We want to know what you think. But we're very, very grateful for each and every one of you and your support of Love Civic Association. We're all volunteers. We all do this because we love this beautiful town, and we want to do everything we can to help maintain the quality of life that was the reason that we chose to be here. So thank you for that. If you want to comment to any of the board members who saw stand up, or you have any questions, any things you'd like us to look into, please feel free to stop us and introduce yourselves and tell us what's on your mind, because we are here tonight because we want to hear it. And is that anything else? Did I forget anything?
We wouldn't exist without you, I can tell you.
And it's
Without
fun.
your support, we're nobody. So it's critical that not only your membership dues, but what you're concerned about is what we're concerned about, because we rep you.
Come here, since I forgot you, really, come here just a second, please.
I'm in trouble.
And you look snappy. Always very funny. Tell them kind of where you get ideas and how they might be helpful to you on that.
Okay. Greetings. Thank you all for coming out. You know, what we try to do is we try to do what's current in town at the moment. And there are weeks where there's a lot of things going on. There are weeks where there's not much going on. We never want to over-communicate with you. But if there's something that we feel like is of interest to the residents and the taxpayers of the town, we want to make sure that we communicate that to you. So the attempt is to keep you current on what's going on. If you've got something that concerns you, you can certainly email our website, brcivic.org, and we get those and we will answer those. And we just want to make sure that we're all in the know. You know, this is a special place, and we all live here for a reason, whether it's full-time or part-time. As Gene says, we're full-time taxpayers. And so if there's something that you're concerned about, if there's something you have a question about, let us know. And we'll dig into it, and we'll gather information, and we'll distribute that back out to you. So that's our version of the news channel, is BRCA 28605. And again, just an effort to keep you informed and keep you in front of what's going on in town at the moment.
He's doing a great job. By the way, he's on the planning board, and he is chairing the committee for short-term rentals. Y'all are gathering information on that. So just stay informed, stay involved, and I just thank you all for